Welcome to the Mindful Nurse Anesthesia Resident Podcast. I have a special guest here today, Amber. I'm so excited. Really quickly, how we met is I'm in this new phase of life where I was meeting all these kindergarten moms. We were all at the park, and one of the kindergarten moms came up to me and was like, "Oh my God, you're a CRNA, right? My neighbor's a CRNA." I was like, "What? What is she?"
We totally beelined it.
We
were like, no,
where's the CRNA?
I need to know her now.
So we literally just went and talked to each other. I don't think we talked to anybody else. I think I talked to you the whole rest of the time. I was like, how is there a CRNA in my neighborhood? So she came over. She lives 10 seconds away, 20 seconds away. Yeah, 2 blocks away. Yes. CRNAs, we are a special kind of group of people. I think are we trauma bonded from school?
I think we're trauma bonded. And
from the craziness.
We're the only ones who know what happened.
Yes. Something to getting through that. You kind of find your people, and she's a boy mom. So
I am.
Just super excited. Entrepreneurial-minded, all the things. So so she's got an awesome story. I am so excited to dive in. She's got a very interesting journey. She does other things in CRNA. So I think you guys are going to be really excited to hear that. And I just thank you so much for Random Monday coming over.
Totally.
Sharing your story and your time and all that. And I'm excited.
I'm excited too. So thank you for having me. Honestly, I'm so lucky to have you in this neighborhood, and I'm so sad we didn't find each other. I moved here in 2018, and I was just now 2017, found out about you.
8 years ago.
Why am I just now finding out about you? Okay, and also, I feel like everyone has a story, right? Yeah. Just we all have different levels of crap going on, right? So
absolutely.
I guess I'll just start with
dive in. I was gonna say, if you want to, so we like to, on my podcast, we really like to, I guess, honor everyone's journey and how everyone does it, because I want you guys to see you can get here in different ways, right? You can get here different ways.
Totally can.
Yeah. So
totally can. Yeah. So the way I kind of ended up in CRNA school, I'll start with that.
Yeah.
So I had been a nurse for 13 years before I applied to anesthesia school. So I guess sort of a late bloomer. I know some people are doing that right out of school. They're trying to get into ICU. However, for me, I started nursing in a different city. I moved to Chicago for my first, place alone, and had a moment to bloom, and, lived on my own, and it was fun. Lived in Wrigleyville. I worked at U Chicago Medicine, was in the heart transplant ICU for a while. And then I actually looked at, so I knew I wanted to go to CRNA school that had a doctorate program, because I was looking at, future needs. And at that time, they were saying, this is the future of it. It's all pretty much going to be DNP programs by, I think it was 2023 back then. So I knew I wanted to go that route right away. There was 2 schools I was really looking at, North Shore and Rush at the time. Shout out. So I remember going to look at Rush, and I know it wasn't as flexible. And at that time I had a 3-year-old. And so I'm like, I need the flexibility. I have a husband and 3-year-old at home. So I ended up applying to North Shore only. I know I applied to one school, which is kind of brave or stupid, whatever you want to call it. I actually ended up getting in. I can't remember who kind of coached me. Another girl who's already in the program told me, hey, have all your ducks in a row, obviously, before you even apply. Make sure your GRE score was up. So it wasn't quite where they wanted it. So I actually retook the GRE, which sucked, because I had been out of school for so long.
Like their Achilles heel. I know everyone's listening God, the GRE.
No. If you want to get, kind of a sure shot to get in, definitely make sure your GRE score is up there, and just go ahead and retake it if you need to. I also had to retake chemistry and physics because I was more than 10 years out, and that was the rule. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be like the oldest one in the class. This is great.
It's fine.
So it's okay. But I took it, and it was all refreshed. I was happy I did it anyway. Because, that first whole year is didactic, and you want to be in that school mode, again. So got into North Shore University, which is now Endeavor. And that first whole year, like I said, is didactic. And what ended up happening was, let me fast forward it here. My husband ended up getting lymphoma. And my son was 3 years old at the time.
In CRNA school.
So this is right before we started. So that whole year you're waiting because you'll get accepted and then you have a year to wait until the program starts. So you can take some classes early, which I took like theory early, I think, just to get it over with.
Get it done, yeah.
While I was taking my chemistry and physics. And a couple of days before the program really started, my husband was diagnosed with large B-cell diffuse lymphoma. And it is one of the highest proliferative cancers around. So in other words, it was growing super fast. We didn't have time. He went to chemo the next day, 9 days straight of chemo out of nowhere. Like we hadn't even digested the fact that he had lymphoma. It was like, okay, you have lymphoma one day. The next day you're at Northwestern getting treated like hardcore chemo. Luckily, like he was healthy on the outside, I guess. Strong-minded, physically like worked out every day. Just an unfortunate family history, weak immune system. We can get into that later. But I went to the director. I'm like, look, can't do the program. Here's what's happening. My husband is going into chemo and they told us, after the chemo, 9 months of chemo, he's actually going to need a stem cell transplant. So look, I'm out. Can't do this. Sorry. I have a 3-year-old, gotta go home. She looked at me and said, no, you're not.
Wow.
No, you are not. You're going to do this program. You will have the most support here by your classmates. You're going to have the most understanding here rather than, you're going to understand like this is going to turn into your family. Like these 20, it was like 20 of us accepted out of like 200 applicants. By the way, I kind of skimmed over that. And so she's like, no, you're not. You're going to stay. If it comes to the point where you need to take a break or pause, like there's some paperwork we can do. Don't worry about it. But you've worked too hard. You're going to stay. And like to this day, it makes me emotional because I am so grateful for her because what ended up happening was I was able to do, get in there, do my courses. And instead of going home, I'd just go to the hospital and sit next to his hospital bed and study with him, in the hospital bed. And then at the end of the day, go pick up my son from daycare, go home, and just did that every day. Luckily, he was well enough in the hospital bed to keep working remotely. So that way I didn't have to keep a nursing job, which I'm pretty sure in all programs they don't want you working anyway. Yeah. So it just worked out. I mean, it was meant to be. I'm so grateful to the director for making me stay and it all worked out. Long story short, he's doing better than ever. He's actually healthier than he was before.
I'm like, he looks great. I met him, a month ago? He looks amazing. Yeah.
So, and that really kicked off, I was really interested in health and wellness before this even happened. But once your family member gets sick or you get sick, it's like, turns the flames up. Like it becomes the forefront of it becomes like an obsession. Like, okay, how are we going to make it so that you're never going to get sick again? How are we going to make it so that our son is the healthiest he can be so that this doesn't happen to him? Because now we know it's like possibly in his genetics. Yeah. I don't know. And so that really, was at the forefront of my brain. But at the same time, I still was plugging through CRNA school. I'm like, oh, I want to finish. You see that finish line? You're like, 3 years. It seems like a long time, but it goes so fast. Right? So you do all the rotation. I think our program, we went to 9 different facilities. So you're always the new face in an OR. So that took a lot of, like we were talking about, self-reflection, being an adult student again, all those things. You need to get over yourself, right? So,
That's amazing. So I'm learning about her as well because, like I said, we just kind of met. So I had no idea CRNA school was that difficult with you. Yeah. So, wow, like amazing, which shows you can do, like you were a mom. First of all, 13 years. So she was out of school for 13 years. I know a lot of people, I know that's kind of a freaks people out sometimes. I've been out for too long. And then I know a lot of the interview panels are like, are you going to be teachable? Are you still going to be flexible being out? But notice that she was a solid nurse. She had, heart transplant experience, which was amazing. Did you work anywhere else besides ICUs?
Well, I had to work on like the cardiac telemetry unit for a while because there's a wait to get in the ICU there. So I was on the waiting list for a bit, just working on the cardiac floor. Still good experience, but obviously they want you in the ICU. But, I wouldn't have changed it for anything. And I didn't know when I entered the ICU that I wanted to be a CRNA yet.
Okay. So you found that out. What was your encounter with the CRNA?
My first encounter was... I was the nurse to a fresh heart who he was a take back, and a CRNA actually brought my patient back. And I didn't, you got sign out. You just kind of assume, I guess, everyone's residents. So it was a large teaching hospital. Yeah. I had never seen her before. I'm like, oh, a new resident, but then I looked at her name tag and it said nurse anesthetist. And I was like, what? And she was so like, very informative, very confident, very put together, and it's so funny. All these little things matter when you're in the ICU, but all of her IV lines were actually in the right place. Tight. And I was like, wait a second. This never happens. Who is this badass? And I was like, what's nurse anesthesia? So I just kind of looked into it after that. And couple of the anesthesiologists I worked with, who obviously a lot of them were double boarded and they were also part of our critical care team. So I talked with them like, so you guys work with CRNAs, tell me about that. And actually, truth be told, a lot of them said, Amber, if I could do this again, I'd be a CRNA.
A lot of them say that. A lot of people do say that. As much as there's like some haters and some things out there, there's a lot of people say this is a great track.
They were like, the lifestyle is great, kudos to you. You should do it. And one of them gave me my reference letter for CRNA school, and all the rest was history. So awesome. I'm like, I'm going to do this. This is my end goal. I told my husband, he's like, what? You can't work for 3 years?
You're like, surprise.
I'm like, hi. So you married me. This is what you're doing. Compromise, people.
Yeah, compromise. That's it, man. But you guys made it. So you go home, tell your husband, I'm not going to work for 3 years. I'm going to be a CRNA.
Yeah.
And was he able, obviously he was sick while you were in school. Yes. He was still able to support you guys. And
that was fast forward a little bit. Then once I actually worked to get in, and he got sick right after that. And like he was able, to work while he was in the hospital, never had to skip a beat with his job, except for a couple of days here and there, which really didn't matter. We were so lucky in that aspect. And, it was tough, but I also know it was tough for a lot of my classmates too. A group of 20 people, you get pretty close because what will carry you through is those study groups. That is the only way I got through. And then you get to know those people's lives so intimately because you're with them every day. You're with them at a really tough point in your life. You're getting up, cracking on, going to your clinical site, you're talking, you're texting constantly, you're studying together, you're drilling each other with questions. You kind of get to know how the other one thinks, and you're just doing life.
Like I was in my classmates, you're just doing life with them in a really weird spot. I know some of you guys struggle with some of your classmates. I know there's bigger classes, there's smaller, it's hard, but I just do continue to urge you to try to find someone or some source of person that understands what you're going through. And even when I have in my coaching programs, I love when we all come together and do calls because they get to network with people in other programs.
That's great.
And it's like, I try to connect as many. So let me know, guys, I try to connect as many people as I can because there is something to be said when you guys are like in it together at the same time. So I love that you have that support. I love that your program director, it reminds me actually one of my classmates, good friend, trying to get her on the podcast. But I remember she came up to me, her dad got very sick when we were in school, and she told me she was going to quit. And I was like, no, I'm like, you're actually not. I'm like, I will drag you. Like, we are going to get through this together, drag. And we did. And she was like, I don't know, 4.0, perfect student, won all the awards at the end.
Of course.
Of course. But even though she was going through a hard time, and I just want whoever's listening to this, like, you guys can do this. Like, and I know I work with a lot of people who have lost parents, who have lost spouses, whose kids have gotten sick. Life is never going to stop. And,
someone got divorced in the program.
I was going to say divorce happens.
Life happens. And
get pregnant. Some people get pregnant in program,
yeah.
like life happens. And I hope this really encourages you guys to,
Yes.
you can still make this work. You know what I mean? And speaking of that, how did you do it? Like, speaking to like my mamas out there, you had a 3-year-old, you had a husband who was, sick. How did you manage that time of your life? Because you had a 3-year-old. I mean, they're not easy.
I don't know. I was just a robot, just like, this is what I gotta do. What kept me going, honestly, was the support group from my classmates. Just being there for each other, holding each other accountable. My supportive husband, honestly, never skipped a beat. Like, if I had to leave to go study, okay, there wasn't even a conversation. It was like, okay, I'll take the baby. Mom's got to go study. Honestly, him and my study group, my classmates, I couldn't have. In my family, yes, they supported me. I thought it was great what I was doing, but they didn't really know. I'm the first one in my family to even go to college, so nobody really understood. They were just like, "Oh, honey, that's great." They were supportive from afar, I guess. But really, like, the nitty gritty everyday stuff, it was definitely my study group and my husband, and just keeping my eyes on the end goal. Hey, once you get done, your life will be great. Pay will get exponentially better. Just, I guess, just the story I told myself is what got me through.
Yeah, tell yourself good stories. Even if it looks really ugly and messy, it really is what you choose to believe in, what you choose to see, the perspectives that you grab onto is so important. I heard this. I love this. Your quality of life is determined by the stories you tell yourself, right? So just keep your eye on the prize. I guess if you have to write down every day or figure out your purpose or why are you doing this? They're going to ask you that in your interview anyway, so you better know. Take time to figure it out. Don't overthink it. Go on a walk, figure it out. Do what you got to do. Write it down. Write it on your bathroom mirror. I don't know. And that's going to be something that you're going to revisit frequently. And when it gets tough, remember your why. Yeah, that's such a solid. Yeah, totally. And don't overthink it, and just be honest. Because even like, why CRNA? I mean, she kind of gave you her why when she saw the, I feel like everyone's story is like this magical unicorn CRNA. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we all have our first encounter. We're like, I want to do that. Like, I know. Well, honestly, the ICU was getting super morbid anyway. Like, ICU's tough. Everybody had VADs. Like, we were managing ECMO. Ooh. Nobody ever made it out on that thing. I think I saw like 1 or 2 people, and it was like a celebration. But no, it was getting super morbid. And then I saw the CRNA, and I was like, da da da. I want to do that. Was it hard? You said, which I like too, guys. I like that she had been out of school. Her over 10 years. You do have even 7. I think it's 7 to 10 years. You have to retake stuff. You retook some classes to kind of get yourself in that zone. Was it hard being out of school that long and then literally being in a front-loaded program doing that? Was that difficult? Sorry, I keep hitting your knee. No, it's okay. No, it was fine. I think the initial anticipation of it, but once I got started, I was like, oh, okay, it's like riding a bike. Yeah. And I'm addicted to learning. So me too. I just love it. Yeah. So that helped. Yeah. And I'm sure all of you, if you're thinking about going back to school, you probably are the same. So no, it wasn't too bad. It was just like getting a new routine, like anything new, even starting a new job. It's like, okay, once you're there, that's your new routine. You're going to do it. So that part was fine. Well, so let's skip to, so we got through school. You made it. It was rough. Cannot even imagine being a mom and doing all the things. I didn't have kids when I was in school. First job. Walk me through your first job and what kind of happened post school. We'll get. I actually, one of the 9 places I rotated through was my old home, U Chicago. So I went back there as a student. It was my very first rotation as a CRNA. So I knew a lot of the anesthesiologists, but I had never been in the OR, so it was still new to me. Seeing familiar faces was great. And then they had nice new toys, so that was fun. After seeing the other 9 places and really understanding, this as a nurse already, but really understanding the grass is not always greener, and kind of everybody has problems, everybody has great things, and everybody has problems. So it's what's awesome about
being in a program with a ton of rotations is you get to see how different facilities are run and kind of already be thinking about where you want to work. So in my mind, I was like, I'd love to go back home, not only for the familiarity of things and people, but I really liked how they run the place. And for me, it just felt safe. So after seeing other places that were totally cowboy anesthesia, I was like, what the frick is going on? I'm going to be a new grad. I want to feel like I'm in a place that's safe. So for me, that was a huge deal. And I did end up going back to UChicago as a new grad. Very supportive there. It was great. It took like maybe 3 months to onboard. It wasn't bad. Do you want to talk about boards real fast?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Boards.
We should
Let's talk about boards because I know that some of you guys are twitching even.
Don't twitch.
Yes.
Like you should care about it. That's good you're twitching. If you're twitching, keep on twitching.
Yes.
Because you should care. But I don't know how yours was, but my program really plugged Valley anesthesia.
You guys at Valley. So I did a mix of, so Apex had just came out when because you graduated what year?
I graduated in 2017.
So I graduated 2016, but I started working in 2017. So I feel like the Apex had kind of came out.
Yep.
2016-ish, somewhere in there. And I did a mix of Valley and Apex is what I did.
That's great. I went to Valley in Nashville, Philadelphia, actually. Went to Valley. I mean, I'm glad I went. I came back with a couple of nuggets, but I was like in my second year. Oh, I don't know how much of that
I know, you're still drowning.
So I would recommend going later in your program if you're going to go. But then I went through the Apex program twice, and I did Prodigy once.
Okay. A lot of people like Prodigy too. I feel like Prodigy and Apex, a lot of people are doing these days. Yeah.
But Prodigy, I felt like, I don't know about now, but the wording on the test matched Prodigy the most. I felt like how they worded the sentences. And then I passed my first time, so I feel like what I did was helpful.
So what'd you do? Did you graduate? Because on some programs you're done and then you have time. You're basically still in the program. You have time to study. You stop clinicals. We had clinicals up till the bloody end.
Got it.
And then I took 4 weeks to study because it was Christmas and New Year's for me. So I wanted to I buffered in time and then I took my boards in January. So how did you set up your study schedule? Yeah. How far out of school? How does that look for you?
So our program, the way it worked, we finished the DNP portion. So our paper and research portion was done in June, and rotations went all the way up until August, and we graduated the anesthesia program in August. So I took boards the day before Halloween, so October 30th, and because I love Halloween and I wanted to celebrate. God, I went into Pearson VUE, I took the test, and I remember walking out thinking, I failed. I know I failed. I don't want to look at it because they give you a piece of paper. And I took the whole 3 hours. And I'm like, oh, great, I failed. That's why.
Did you get all the questions, or did you get majority questions, or you just kind of took your time?
160 or something. Okay. I can't remember.
I know.
I got a lot of the questions, and that's why I thought that I failed. And I carried this piece of paper on. That's when we lived downtown Chicago, and I just walked the streets, girl. I just walked the streets. I know I failed. I don't want to open this damn piece of paper.
I worked so hard.
It's all, gonna blow up in my face. So I guess I wasn't as strong-minded back then. But I walked the streets. I finally opened the paper. I called my husband. All right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to look at the test. I passed, guys. I passed. And I was like, tears of joy. I'm like, I cannot believe it. It's over.
It's done.
Over. I did it. It's the best feeling.
The end comes, y'all. It comes. Even if you have to walk through fire, it does.
It's so worth it. It's the best feeling of accomplishment ever.
So how many weeks did you say you studied then? Ish.
I got done in August. I started studying
so about
casually in August.
2 months, right? So August
September,
and then end of October. Yeah, so about 2 months then.
A good 12 weeks, I would say.
Okay, so you just really took your time with it.
I did, but I remember getting up literally in the morning, study all freaking day. You have to treat it like a full-time job if you want to pass.
And take care of yourself. I yell at everybody because a lot of people are like, I study all day. and then they do nothing else. And I'm like, okay, it's your job, but at some point you have to work out, you have to eat. I can tell people like that's the missing link. Yes, we're going to get to that. We're going to talk wellness in a second, y'all. But that's the thing is I'm like, you can't like, I always yell at people. I'm like, you can't, it's like that first didactic, the semester, I think a lot of people lock themselves in a room for 16 hours and then they go crazy. And I'm like, we have to find, it's going to be a balance of an imbalance. Like, it's like, it's not going to be perfectly balanced, but you have to take care of yourself, guys, while you were studying. Locking yourself in a room, beating yourself into submission is rarely going to get you the results you want. And you're just going to be
it's not going to get you there.
Tired.
She's so right. And you're so lucky to have her because,
God, you're so sweet.
And if you don't move your body and if you're sedentary all day, you're not going to retain the information as well. So you're really doing yourself a disservice. She's totally right. Take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself while you study.
Take little breaks while you're studying. Go on even like a 5-minute walk or whatever it may be. You're going to retain more. You're going to focus better. Get out in sunlight, all the things. That can be a totally.
I know. I'm like, we've got to do like a wellness, like,
I
crazy
love
podcast.
that. I love it.
I'm just going to invite her over. We're just going to record our conversation.
Let's do it.
Like an hour. Okay. So you passed your boards. You did great on that. Everything would you say it was worth it? Yeah.
1,000%. Yeah. I'd do it over and over again.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah,
absolutely same. You would go through the same journey.
I would. I needed it because whatever happened to me, whatever unfolded, I needed it for a reason. It shaped who I am. It shaped who I am as a CRNA. 100% don't regret it.
So you were at UC for, how long did you stay there for?
Almost 7 years.
Okay.
As a CRNA.
And then let's talk about your pivot and your business. Because that's the thing is CRNA can be such a stepping stone. I feel like some people, CRNA and that's what they do. And that's totally fine. I mean, that's a lot of what I'm doing besides coaching and stuff. But I also feel like your career can step you into so many things. Real estate, investing, aesthetics, a lot of people go into.
I'm glad you said that because, all of a sudden your paycheck is a lot more than what it used to be. So people, they want to learn more about financial things. Yes. And I think a lot of people pivot to like real estate, because now you have that opportunity. And so for me, my journey was that my husband and I had a couple of miscarriages after our boy we had. And then I was approaching 40 and I'm like, okay, this is going to be shut down for business. So you need to get the snip. And we decided, well, let's just wait one more year. And if it happens, it happens. Ended up happening. So here I am. I had him at 41. He's 3 now. And so we had a 3-year-old. And so that brought me down to part-time. We were in a place where we could do that. That was beautiful. It was just like a perfect balance for me personally. And, that was 2 10s a week. Nice. It was perfect. Had a teenager at home and then I had my baby at home. It was super weird, huge gap, but it was so beautiful. And eventually we got to a place where, I was considering being an older mom. I was considering, wow, I've never actually had this opportunity where I can be home with my kids full time. And we were finally in the place where I could even think about doing that.
And her husband's not medical, by the way. So
her
husband is not medical. My husband's not medical either. So just,
No, he's not. He's in insurance and financial land. He's taught me a lot in that realm. But we were able to do that. And then during my time off, I had already been for a couple of years reading all the books and listening to all the podcasts for like health and wellness and learned about functional medicine along the way. And I'm like, wow, this is like my jam. I totally feel like, understanding the root causes of why people are, in front of me in surgery, having the surgeries, like I'm finally getting to understand like what could have happened or why. And it was in a different way of, obviously you get all the years of A&P and you understand all of that, but we weren't taught any of this other stuff. And like I said, I'm addicted to learning. So anything new, I was like, ooh, really? I want to learn about that. And so I kept, we see the same old thing in the OR, obesity, diabetes, kidney disease, blah, blah, blah. And just learning about all this functional medicine stuff, I was like, wait a minute. I'm at home. Yes, I'm with my kids, but I still have like this burning desire to, keep learning. And all the while, just because I'm home doesn't mean I still wanted to contribute in a meaningful way to the world. And it's like I'm just sitting here gatekeeping all of this information that I'm learning from all these great books and these podcasts. Yes, I was in the OR hands-on helping these people get through surgery, but now I can help these people, dare I say it, stay out of surgery.
I know, right? Put us out of business.
Conflict of interest alert.
I know, right?
No, obviously I'm not. It's going to take thousands of me and a very, very, very long time.
I'm like, I swear, just when you think you've taken out all the gallbladders in America, there's like still more. I think I did, 4 or 5 gallbladders the other day. Yeah. So we still got a long way to go. It's okay.
Listen, I am not like, don't be scared of me, hospitals. I'm not going to take your business. But the idea is to, disease prevention rather than wait until you're sick and try to undo it. So that's what I really got obsessed with. And I actually ended up training at the Institute of Functional Medicine under Dr. Mark Hyman. And I also did a separate gut health training through Restorative Wellness Solutions. So gut health is my jam. It's like, I believe, the foundation for health.
So true.
So that's where I'm at. And I ended up starting Restore My Vitality in late 2023.
Okay, yeah. Because this is new. Because you took, remind me again, I know we were talking at the park, you took a year off to build your business. Is that correct? Or were you still working a little bit?
No, I just black and white quit.
Yeah.
And I probably should have kept on as PRN, which we can talk about that too, because I feel like that's a tidbit of information that you guys should know. So I took some time off. Now it's been a good 2 years that I have not practiced. Mm-hmm. But that said, business is going great. I'm taking one-on-one clients. It's been life-changing. I'm seeing some amazing transformations.
And you can work from home, right?
I can work from home. It's virtual. I can work from anywhere. I can do labs from anywhere. I was in Mexico a few months ago, talked to my client. She was very appreciative. Took 30 minutes with her and it was life-changing. I'm like, of course. This is why, part of the reason I do this is I can work from anywhere and help anybody from anywhere.
And I feel like a lot of CRNAs, I know I've been noticing on some of like the CRNA threads on Facebook is how can CRNAs work from home? And so I know a lot of them are going back for a lot of CRNAs. I know a couple in my circle are going back for psych NP and doing telehealth and things like this. So walk me through, how did you start building? So you got all the education. How did you start building your, and you did this with 2 kids, right? So a husband, 2 kids.
I did.
And you,
because it's all online. Again, it's all online. You can do it on your own time. This particular program was online.
Okay.
You have to be certain times, like you have to be there specific times online, but that's okay. Made it work. And the rest of it is kind of, whatever sparks your fancy, you can kind of dig into it more. If you want to do hormones, you can, get a separate certification in that, or gut health like I did, separate. Or you can just do the whole darn thing in 2 years and get certified. I didn't personally take the certification. I don't feel like I needed to. I was already helping clients. I'm like,
good.
I'm good. So what do you want to talk? Oh, the 2-year gap. Okay, guys. Yeah. So this is super important. Something I learned. I don't want anyone else to go through it. So when I left my job to stay home with my 2 kids, I called the state. We live here in Illinois. Illinois said, which is, by the way, one of the strictest states. So I feel like if you have this rule, you're fine.
I'm like, it's a little rough.
It's a little rough. So they're like, hey, you're fine. I told them my plan. I'm like, I'm going to stop now, take some time off with my family. Like, what do I need to do to stay active and not lose my license? And they're like, you need to work within 4 years. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of wild. Like, I wouldn't want that if I was a patient, but okay, that's the rule. So my plan was to go back within like 2 years-ish and maybe do some locums work to keep my license active. Well, that timeline hit and I tried to get a job with locums and they were like, wait a minute, you're just at the 2-year mark.
So it's
we need some references that are more recent. Sorry, we can't onboard you. And I'm like panicking at this point. I'm like, wait, I've kept up all my continuing ed.
You're doing all your CMEs.
I did all my CMEs. I actually reboard certified this past summer because it was my turn. It's that, like, I've done all the things. And they're like, sorry, we need those references that are less than 2 years old. So if you are ever thinking about taking some time off, don't let it go over 2 years.
Okay.
Because you will have a much harder time. So maybe stay on as PRN somewhere or just do locums less than that 2-year mark.
Okay.
So that's what I would pass on because it's been real tough. Now, long story short, I've actually just accepted a job with an academic center.
Okay.
And I start in January. So it all worked out in the end, but it was a lot tougher. So I do not recommend that.
So what is your schedule going to be like this upcoming year with like the CRNA thing, your business?
So I'm still taking clients.
100%.
By the way, I do have a business lawyer and she told me to not operate under my CRNA license. She recommended that back when I did my contract. Okay. So I already knew that, but hospitals don't yet understand. It's a very gray area right now. So if you're thinking about doing something like this in the future, maybe it'll be ironed out by then. But functional medicine is sort of like new-ish. It's only like, I don't know, like 20 years old. So it's not, black and white yet. And hospitals are definitely, if they don't understand it, they're just going to say, send it to legal. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with it. Yeah. They just want a warm body CRNA and they're in the OR. So they don't care. So I'm just kind of keeping this part to myself, but I am still open for business. I'm still helping clients one-on-one and I'm open to groups. And I am going to be working 3 days, 312.
Oh my God, I love it. Well, I have a question it just came to me. Hold on a second. What do you think? So obviously being a nurse for so many years, going through CRNA school, being a CRNA, working actively 6-7 years, what skills do you think as a CRNA translated into entrepreneurship, building a business?
Gosh, being autonomous and having to figure it out by yourself because you kind of have to get scrappy when you're an entrepreneur and figure it out by yourself, unless you have some really good mentors. So I would recommend finding someone who's already done it before you and just questioning them like crazy and asking them how they did it, what they did. But yeah, the skills, I would say you guys probably already have these skills, whether you want to be an entrepreneur or not, because I didn't realize that I was an entrepreneur until I started doing it. I'm like, holy crap. I guess you would call me an entrepreneur.
Yes, but I think too, like that scrappiness. I mean, you need that through school. There it is.
You need it
say it all the time, that figure it out energy that I'm capable. And I think I was actually just working on writing something else. Actually, a podcast that I'm actually going to record is just, you got to just approach everything with, I'm going to figure it out. It might be messy. It might be imperfect. I might get yelled at. They may look at me like I'm crazy, but you really have to walk through life with, I am going to figure this out. So I love that you just said that.
You're so right. Because historically, as nurses, we've had to be kind of thrown to the wolves. I think that's the difference between MDs and nursing sometimes is that, well, maybe it's not like this anymore, but back when I was in nursing school, the nursing professors and mentors and preceptors and things weren't always nice and very critical and almost like downright mean, right? So you're just sort of thrown to the wolves and expected to just do it. So I guess we've had to kind of figure it out from the get-go, right? And
I think even ICU, ICU, I feel like, I don't know, I had some bullying at my first job. I know I was actually talking to someone the other day who's in the ICU and they're like, it's a lot of travelers and I'm a brand new grad. And so, and I did a lot of coaching with her. She's actually, her mom's a CRNA. So she was like, can you go talk to my daughter? I was like, of course. So I kind of got on the phone with her and just kind of coached her. You got to show up in what you do know, and you have to build your confidence, and you have to, but I'm like, I'm like, the type of nurse, the strong nurse you're going to be is going to be made right here in these trenches. You have to lean in, and
you got to lean in and don't act like you know everything. Get over your damn self. You got to ask questions, and nobody knows everything. I don't care who you are. If you're the director of the damn hospital, nobody knows everything. Don't act like you do. Nobody does. And just ask questions. And that's a lot of entrepreneurship too, because, and I know people are going to say, fake it till you make it. That's worked for me too. I think that is more like confidence maybe, but not the actual knowledge part. You got to get to know it somewhere. You just find the answer. Hey, if I don't know, I'll find out for you. Same thing you do in the OR. So,
right. That's all it is all the time. I mean, even the other day I was at a new locums place, and he was like, okay, go ahead and block this hip. And I'm like, oh, okay. Do you guys do pain blocks? They're like, no, we do fascia iliaca.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is that? I've never done, what I mean? Like, I was like that. I don't come from that world. You know what I mean? But figured it out.
Yes.
Figured it out. I did it as well. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it doesn't matter where you get in life. You're always going to be having to figure some things out.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Well, Amber, any last minute advice, anything you want to say? I mean, your story, thank you for sharing it, is amazing. I hope that you guys can see that you can do anything.
You can do anything.
And even, I mean, you can have a kid at 41, which is amazing. You can get through CRNA school with life literally trying to bring you down. You can start a business. You can take a break from anesthesia. Like, I just want you guys to see that this is your life and your journey. It doesn't have to look like anybody else's. It doesn't have to be like anybody else's. We're just here. I just hope that these episodes show you there's so many different ways that you can live your life. And I hope you pull from inspiration. I'm going to drop all her links and everything, so you can get in touch with her and see all her website and all her stuff. But I just hope you guys can see what's possible for you if you stick to your why and you focus on your impact. Because even I think you alluded to it earlier when you were talking about your husband, like that kind of sparks something in you. Like, okay, how can we be healthier? Like, I might not be able to stop this, but how can we? And even like my son has GI issues and eczema and issues. We were talking about that before we hit record, and I'm like, okay, you have a new patient, like help him out. You know what I mean? So this is just what it's about. So, and every single one of you listening to this has a unique story and something unique to bring to the table. And I hope this just encourages you to keep going forward.
Yeah. Well said. No one else can be you, guys. Do it. If this is what you want, get through the program. Your superpower is being you. Anything you want, write down your why. Yes, I love it. Good luck. Please reach out. And I'm here. If anybody has a question.
Yeah, come to Chicago. We can go out for brunch or something. Like, come hang out with us in the burbs or in Chicago. We'll hang out.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing everything. And I'm going to have her back because there's so much stuff we could talk about.
So much to talk about.
So yeah, I will have her back on the podcast. Any questions, anything you guys want else to know, email me and I will have all her information in the show notes below. So, all right, guys, have an awesome day.
Bye.
See ya.